What's up, everyone? Tyler Tamboline here, a.k.a. Toe Tag and Tambo, and we're back. Wednesday, winners edition of the NBA Hardwood Show here on the Run Pure Sports YouTube channel. Of course, if you're just joining us, do us a favor on the way in. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe. Get things popping early. We need to get to, what's the number today? 350. We're going to go 350 on the likes, so set the number. I wasn't playing around last time. I'm not playing around this week either, so we're back. We had the break. Fun little break. The dunk comp, we won't get into all of it, but the dunk comp was not that good. I know Mac crushed. Believe that. I understand it. But if he didn't do that, that was one of the worst of all time. So thankfully, he came through. Title, Locks, got my boys here with me. Title, I'll bring you in first, man. What's going on? How you doing this week?
Yeah, we talked about the dunk contest like last week it was last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was. And we said, I was excited for KJ Martin and Mac McClung. Mac McClung absolutely showed out, stole the whole show. So it was fun to watch just because of him. I mean, man, Jericho Sims, I can't dunk, so I guess I can't really say much, but that was one of the worst two dunks I've ever seen. KJ Martin, I was a little disappointed. His first dunk I thought was nasty. I thought it was a little underrated. McClung definitely stole the show. But yeah, 9 games today. Story of the slate's the Lakers. One word, Lakers. Busted yesterday. It's pretty tough to ignore today, though. So excited to talk some hoops.
Back to the well. Yeah. Locks, I'll bring you in, my guy. I got the news today that got broken to me. Like, this is a quick story for everyone. I've been texting back and forth with Locks because I got the live final seat for Denver. The last night I was fortunate enough to get a second one. And he had one, like, remember, you guys watched the show the week that him and I both, when I got my FanDuel one, he got his DraftKings like the same night or the night before, and he's had it forever. Yeah. And all the way, he's texting me, Title. Let me tell Title the story. He's texting me but going like, yeah, man, that's awesome. And he's never committing to like the response. I keep saying, can't wait to see you in Denver. And he never actually commits to the follow-up. I had to go back and look at the text. He never said like, yeah, I can't wait to see you there. He just kept saying live finals are the best, or it's going to be awesome, or whatever. And then I find out today from Big T on the Premium Golf Show that Locks is not even going to Denver. Like, Title will be there. Bunch of people. I don't, if I start naming them, I'll forget them, but there's a lot of RPS coordinators, members, great people coming down, friends, family, etc. But yeah, Locks will not be there. Locks, I won't hold it against you too much. How you doing on this Wednesday, my friend?
I'm doing all right, man. Trust me, it crushes me as much as it crushes you guys. I was looking forward to meeting the crew. I got other things to do with work, a couple of my managers being gone and stuff, so I got to step in. But if I win the million in Denver, I'll have to find a way to fly out for the party. So hopefully that'll change things. We'll see.
All right, if I win the milli tonight, because that's part of this slate, there is a $2,500 mega milli on DraftKings. Again, fortunate, I got 4 tickets to that, so I'm excited. If I win that milli tonight, Locks, how rich does the guy just won $250,000 a month ago? But I will be buying those managers their time back to the office so that Locks can come down with us to Denver. That's what I'll be doing. So got to have Locks down with the people. So yeah, the chat hit it up. We'll talk to the internal crew. We're realists here. The chat's already talking about it. Jaw was put on the graphic. Somebody's in trouble for that. Probably it's not a good idea on this day. Probably a bad scene putting him on the graphic leading in the thumbnail, but we'll talk to management, upper management. We're here though to talk hoops, talk winners. It is Wednesday. So Title, you hinted at it. You hit it at a little bit. So give us the grand scheme overview, because you mentioned the Lakers value, but then Embiid downgraded midday. There is some other stuff to talk. Anthony Simons upgraded midday. There is some stuff to talk about before we get into this slate. So let's hear what you got to say.
Yeah, I mean, Lakers were one of the stories of the slate yesterday with LeBron out, D-Russ out. Now both of them are still out, and then Anthony Davis is out. So, man, loading up on the Lakers. They have 11 bodies. 2 of them really don't play, so pretty much 9 is how I'm seeing it. A couple other injury news. Yeah, 9-game slate. You'd expect a lot more questionable tags than we have. Joe Valanciunas is questionable. He's in the last game 2 hours after lock. Gary in the playbook thinks he'll play it with the bruise, but we won't get that news, I imagine. Embiid, midday downgrade to questionable. Obviously, very big news. Anthony Simons was just a midday upgrade, like 20 minutes before we came on, which is interesting. And then KPJ is also questionable. Josh Richardson questionable, doesn't mean as much. But, yeah, Simons midday upgrade, Embiid midday downgrade. The 2 big pieces of news, really. But it's going to be the Lakers regardless how any news hits.
And Locks, give me your thoughts, too, your grand scheme overview. But then talk about that Lakers stuff, too, quickly, because I know it'll come up later when we get to it, but just how you're seeing it play out, because it's a big thing for this slate, of course.
Yeah, that's going to be a huge thing for this slate, obviously. And we saw him kind of bust yesterday, but today's even a different story. Now we got AD out as well. So I think they're even better plays today. I don't really foresee them busting. I'm actually kind of glad they did bust yesterday because now the ownership might be a little bit less today. And that's where we can capitalize possibly. So definitely interesting. Not much else to add as far as the injuries go. Title always does well doing that. So let's just dive right in.
Yeah, let's do it. If you want to do that, you know what, Lux? I like the confidence and the optimism here. I'm going to start with you. We're going to go Chicago, Detroit, and I'm going to start with Lux today. So alphabetical order here. We'll start with Lux. Chicago, Detroit. What do you got in this game?
Yeah, this game's interesting. I think two of these guys, these bigs, are just smash plays in my opinion. One of them over the other. I think Bagley's a better play than Wiseman, but I think both of them are great plays on the Detroit side. Really, two of my only interesting guys here. And then Diallo at 4,600 is another guy I'm very interested in. I have a feeling he might start, maybe not. Even if he doesn't, I think he can get us there. Not going to have too much ownership. So those three guys are my plays. I see Bogdanovich is in from what I'm seeing, but at 6,200, I don't think I'm going to get there as far as price goes. And then on the other side of the ball, I really am only interested in one Chicago Bull, and that's Vucevic. I think he can go for 55, 60 DK points tonight, just in a great spot against the Detroit team that doesn't really guard the centers very well. So those are my main points of interest in this first one.
Yeah, and man, these Lakers, wow, just pulling some stuff up here now, but we'll get to that. Title, I'll go to you. The Vooch call is obviously, one that I don't have any problem with. I think there's other good plays here too that you could go to, but just in general, there's probably better spots later. And when you start using all those value plays and find ways to pay up, or if you want to roll balanced or something like that, there's lots of different ways you could go where you could avoid this. But who are the guys in this game that you like?
Yeah, I'm not the Chicago side. They're healthy. I'm not going to – anytime Chicago's healthy, they got Levine, they have DeRozan, they have Vooch. On a 9-game slate, I'm not going to play which one's going to get there. I mean, you easily can get a snowflake from any of them. One guy probably gets there. I'm not going to guess who it is. We have enough other star power on the slate. But yeah, for Detroit, I mean, they were kind of chalky a couple nights ago. They're still without Jalen Duren. Isaiah Stewart's also out. Isaiah Livers got hurt midway through that game as well. Jaden Ivey was out 2 days ago, though, and now he is back in. So I like Killian Hayes. He's going to play 33 minutes, 35 minutes, 5.3K. Shot the ball poorly last time out, too, but the assists were there. He can rebound the ball. I'm going with Killian Hayes in the backcourt. Probably the only guy I'll get there, though. I don't think I'll get to Jaden Ivey. Hamidou Diallo, if he starts, I would like him. With Ivy back, though, and they started Rodney Magruder last time, I'm kind of expecting Diallo to come off the bench. Again, if he starts, I definitely give him a big bump. Off the bench, his minutes have been capped, though, which is a little worrisome. Fine if you want to go there. There's enough other pieces that I like. Like, I'll choose the Lakers guys over a guy like Hamidou Diallo, assuming he's coming off the bench. But yeah, James Wiseman, 4.8K, power forward and center eligible, and then Bagley, 4.9K. Wiseman's definitely going to be more popular than Bagley, partly because you can play him at power forward and not just center, whereas that's Bagley. I'm good with Bagley, though. I assume he's going to come off the bench, which will keep his ownership down. 6-7% is what I'm seeing. I mean, if that holds true, they're going to split 48 minutes at center. So I'm good pivoting off a chalkier Wiseman to a Bagley. I do prefer Wiseman, though, in a vacuum because of that power forward eligibility. But it's not a game I'm going overboard on. Killian Hayes and Wiseman are my two favorites. If Diallo does start, I would like him as well, but not as much off the bench.
Oh, is this guy Magruder? I know he's a professional athlete, so I'm not one to talk, but just saying, like, hey, I seemed like I got suckered in so bad the other night playing this guy.
Cardio king.
Yeah,
pretty much.
That was a big error on my part. That was
Snell.
certainly not a good night for me. I've had some good nights, so that was not one of them, and that play was bad. I will say one play. I'm not high on this game or anything like that, but you talked about Killian Hayes. Looks like at least some ownership goes there. One thing about Ivy, ball hog. Gotta love that, man. For $300 more, way less ownership. If someone is playing this spot, not that anybody's going here anyway, but I'm just saying that's one thing I always look at. Like Killian Hayes, such a ball hog, man. I think he's 5,600 or something on this slate. Oh, I like this one. Nades, Rodney McCardio instead of Magruder. So I like that one. But yeah, the guy there, Ivy. If you wanted to play him in a tournament or something, I like the Diallo call. I guess I was playing it the other day. Even if he came off the bench. People sometimes say, like, who cares? At least you get in the second unit, all that. And Locks, you kind of hinted at that. So I guess that's where I'm at in this game. Nothing too serious, though. Waiting for some of these plays later. Not excited to get in on this spot and just go heavy in this game anyway. So, Locks, I'll go back to you, man, for the second one. We got Phoenix, Charlotte. Thoughts on this one? Who are some of the guys you like in this game?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm torn what to do with this Phoenix team with KD playing. I know he's going to be capped, but we don't know how this is going to go yet. So I'm actually probably going to fade and click off of this whole Phoenix team just until I see what this rotation is going to look like, how it's going to look. There's plenty of other spots to go to here. I just don't see myself paying up for any of these guys without knowing the rotation. And then on the Charlotte side, Dennis Smith Jr., Terry Rozier, those are probably my main 2 points of interest here. Otherwise, I'm really actually Xing this game off, which might come surprising with the high total here, but I don't see it. I don't see any reason to play any of these guys other than the two I mentioned on the Hornets side. So pretty much a cross-off game for me for the most part.
Okay. Title, I'll go to you. Same spot here. What's your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, Phoenix easiest fade on the slate. KD back. There's so many. They're so healthy. They have so many guys that can contribute. I'm not going to mess with any. The prices are like KD is still out. So no Phoenix for me. Yeah, as far as Charlotte, this is the first game that LaMelo, he's going to be out for the year. Man, he got to get his ankle stronger. Hopefully he doesn't have these problems the rest of his career. But out for the year, PJ Washington also still doubtful. Dennis Smith's going to take over as a starting point guard. Definitely like him at 5.1K. Rozier is going to be running the show at 7.2K. He's definitely going to get ownership, Terry Rozier. And I assume a lot of people remember LaMelo's been hurt multiple times this year. But, man, Rozier was pretty lackluster. A lot of the games that LaMelo was out, the price tag is down. I mean, he was like 8K when LaMelo was out previously. But at the end of the day, we talk about it on this show a lot. Like, he's a shooter. He's going to chuck a lot. The shots don't fall. He can still bust even without LaMelo there, taking 17, 18 shots. So we're talking about a chalky guy. If you're looking to fade one, I think you can make a case for Terry Rozier to fade, but definitely grades out as a strong play. I like Gordon Hayward at 6.4K. Minutes are now above 30. His usage has gone way up. He's been a lot more aggressive as of late than he was in the beginning of the year. Only going to be more aggressive without LaMelo there. So 6.4K, a good price tag. Then Mark Williams, 6.3K. Seeing 5 to 10% ownership here. They're going to need a size against Ayton. Finally, the minutes are sitting around 30. When he was only playing 18, 19, it was really tilting because he was a great point per minute producer, but minutes are there now about 30. They're going to need a size against Ayton, and he is a really good fantasy point per minute guy. So I'm good taking a low-owned stab on Mark Williams because since he's shown a lot of upside.
This chat said the revenge game for Oubre going back. I don't know.
6.5. He's 6'5". Like, I just prefer Gordon Hayward at 6'4", but I mean, Oubre is going to be like 2% owned, so the old Chuck.
Yeah. Did you have something to add on that, Locks? I heard you chime in for a sec.
No, I just think Oubre's price tag's too high for me to play him. I'd much rather play Hayward as well.
What about centers against Charlotte? Is that over now?
That's the thing, like, with Ayton there, but there's Booker, there's CP3, there's KD. Like, how many shots is Ayton really going to be getting in the pick and roll? Like, are they going to try and feature KD when he's on the court? It's just there's so many bodies there. KD's first game there. No one knows really how Phoenix is going to do it. Do I really want to play just a center spot? What is Ayton? He's 8.1K.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't miss at 8.1K. So it's not for me.
Something to think about. Yeah, exactly. That's why I bring it up. KD's old team, the Nets, Brooklyn versus New York. Locks, I'll go back to you. It's the third game of the slate. Second set of games. The first two were at lock. This one's a half hour after. What are you doing here in this one?
Yeah, this one's another one I just don't have a whole lot of interest in. Just some pieces. I think Jalen Brunson is probably, in my opinion, the best play in this game at 8,600. I do like him tonight. So he's probably my main interest on the Knicks side. I don't like RJ Barrett not playing Grimes. If I'm going to play anybody else, it's going to be Mitch, Rob, and Julius Randle. So those three guys. And then I might sprinkle a little Josh Hart as well. They've looked really good since I got Josh Hart. Josh Hart looks really good. So maybe sprinkle him in. His price tag is, I don't know if I can get to 5,200. I'll have to see where my pieces fall, but he's my only guy I like off the bench there. On the Nets side, I don't know. I just want to cross this whole team off. I don't really like it. One night you see Mikal go off, then you see Cam Johnson go off. It's too hard to predict for me. I'm okay crossing off these Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, Title, didn't the Brooklyn guys come through a little bit last night? Like that was at no ownership pretty much. I think AP was all over them for us over at RPS and others as well. But just to bring it up, like I think that is kind of something to think about, or maybe some consider that. But I don't know if I see people doing that. Gary, our guy in the chat, does the playbook over at RPS. If you need a code, Locks put it right up on his screen name today, right on the YouTube channel. So got to give him credit for that. That's creative. Locks15 is the code. You can get over there. Gary's got the playbook up with everything broken down for you and many other things. You get the premium show up the locks. Can be JSU, Big T, Holden. Got all kinds of stuff going on. And then all the core plays from these guys and others over at the site. But he keeps mentioning Mitch Rob. So any love for Mitch Rob or anybody else here that you want to get on? Anybody else?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same spot as for Mitch Rob as his last game, which I liked him too. He's going to be very low owned. We know the upside with Mitch Rob. Going to need his size against Claxton. He matches up very well with him. Double. Upside there. No one's really playing him. So I always like Mitch Rob. 5K on DK, 6.7K on FanDuel comparing the two sites. Obviously, a better play on FanDuel with the stock upside. Not $1,700 difference, though. Center's always a position it's easy to get different at. So, yeah, definitely like that Mitch Rob shout. Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson, the only other two I would get to. On this 9-game slate, like the stars, there's a couple of them that are interesting. A lot of them are still very expensive. Julius Randle's price tag, though, 9.5, plays 35-plus minutes. I think he's a solid one. Same with Jalen Brunson right there, 8.6K. Randall's definitely going to be more popular. It's still not – I don't think he's going to be crazy chalk or anything. I would make a rule to max one of Randall and Brunson. Wouldn't get to them both on this slate, but both very viable as spend-ups, especially Brunson's going to be in like a no man's land. He might come in at like 6%, something like that. Anytime you play 35-plus minutes at 6% with all the value in the world, I think you can do worse than him. The Brooklyn side, man, they played the Bucks well yesterday. It's the second end of a back-to-back. I just wish I knew what the minutes were going to be. Is Mikal going to get 36 minutes again? Is Cam going to get 33 or whatever? Is Spencer Dinwiddie going to get 34, 35? Because if that's the case, you definitely can play these Brooklyn guys. They got good chemistry. I like what they're rolling, playing pretty fast. Mikal would be my favorite at 7-4. It seems like they're most willing to give him big minutes. Man, he can shoot the three ball. He can rebound. He can get assists. He's 45 yesterday, 43 the game before, 71 piece a couple games ago. He has definitely flashed that upside. He's shooting the ball a lot. Usage is there. So he'd be my favorite. But, man, you can't miss that 7.4K either. So these Nets, definitely tournament plays. I'd probably max two of them on this slate. And maybe it's if I'm playing a Randall, if I'm playing a Brunson, then I'd be good. I'd boost the Nets guys. And I probably just wouldn't play them if I wasn't playing anyone on the Knicks, I probably wouldn't get to the Nets that way. So I don't know. I wish I had a better read on what these Nets were going to do. Are they trying to win? I don't know. I don't think. Why would they try and win? They're not going to do anything. And teams like that, we got OKC. We'll get to them. Saw yesterday, Giddey plays 19 minutes. Dort hardly plays. These teams that don't really want to win, it just gets more and more. It gets harder and harder to play them as the year goes on. So, yeah, you can get to – I'd rank them Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, and Dinwiddie. But, man, they can all snowflake for you for sure, and I wouldn't be surprised one bit.
And Locks, by the way, in Denver, the itinerary is out. You are going to be missing out on an incredible basketball game of these Brooklyn Nets versus the Denver Nuggets, of course, at home where we're at in Denver. So just so you know, more food for thought there. Like I said, we'll see. But, for me, nothing else really stands out. One thing that does stand out, though, that just a takeaway from this to apply to the slate, because Title sort of hinted at something, and I always hear these thoughts and think of something else, is when you've got Beasley, Schroeder, Rozier, not just the Lakers, that guys like that, Giddey, those ones that people want to play in these other spots. It's a guy like Brunson, like you just can't be played. Not saying he's the best play because of this. I'm mainly talking guards in general, and you guys both brought up Brunson, but like people it's just so hard to get there when all these guard spots and even the util versions and the G down below and everything are getting filled up with these other guys that are just the best value plays on the slate. So keep that in mind when you're building out and rolling out some of these other guards. A guy like Brunson could be pretty special for your lineup tonight in a spot like that. Locks, anything else you want to add here? If not, you can take us to Philly, Miami.
No, nothing else to add on this one. Going over to Philly, Miami, obviously the Embiid news is probably the biggest thing that we're seeing on this slate so far. If he's out, I'll break it down with him being out. I think a midday downgrade definitely means he's probably going to be. I actually like Niang at the Stoneman 3K. I think he plays a little bit more, so he's very interesting to me. A lot of people are going to go to Paul Reed or Harrell, and I'm not going to go there. I got too many other spots I'd rather get to. I'd rather play Niang because I think he's going to be lower ownership and he's going to play more minutes. James Harden obviously goes up. Tobias Harris at 5.4 is interesting there as well. And then I do like Anthony Melton at 3,700. So there's some pieces here that I do like. Probably not going heavy, but those are the four guys I like if I'm ranking them. Probably Harden, Harris, Niang, Melton in that order. And that's if Embiid's out. If Embiid's in, I'm probably not playing any of these guys other than Embiid. I do like him if he is in against this Miami team. And then on Miami, not much interest. I don't know what to do with these guys. I don't know. I'm okay Xing this team off just because I don't really know where to go with this whole Kevin Love being in and stuff. I don't see it. So I'm off of them.
Okay. Title with you. I'm just looking to see if there's any other news. Nothing else popping up yet. Chat will usually let us know. We're a little bit away from that yet, but anything we can get is helpful on this slate. Title, I'll let you take it away here. Philly, Miami. What do you got in this one?
Whoa, PJ Tucker revenge game. I don't care what revenge PJ Tucker is. I'm not playing PJ Tucker. The whole squad could be out, and I'm not getting to him. So no for that. Yeah, I mean, Miami side, I'm not another easy fade. Cross off the whole team. They're healthy. I'm not messing with any of them. If Jimmy Butler beats me, he beats me like he did a couple games ago. But nothing for me in that. As far as the Philly side, yeah, so midday downgrade for Embiid. If he's in, I wouldn't. Embiid, you could play him, of course. It's a tough matchup against Bam. It's Joel Embiid, though. He will be low owned as a contrarian spend, so I'll never say no. He'd be the only one I'd get to, though. If he's in, if Embiid's out, though, if Paul Reed starts, I would definitely like him at 3K. I mean, I always like playing Paul Reed anytime he starts. Athletic guy, point per minute monster. But if he doesn't start, the minutes are just never secure. So that'd be the only guy in the front court. Like if Montrez starts, 4.5K, I still wouldn't even get to him. So basically, Paul Reed, if he starts for Embiid, I'd like him. Otherwise, I wouldn't really care who starts. But if he's out, of course, James Harden, 10.3K would be one of the best spends on the slate. Tobias, 5.4K. Tyrese Maxey, 5.2. D'Anthony Melton, 3.7. Those are the four main guys that I'd focus on. I'd like all of them. Philly would go from a team that's getting no ownership to one of the best spots on the slate with the Lakers because Joel Embiid's out. So monitor that news. It's 30 minutes after lock. Probably we'll get on the Up to Watch show. Another reason, tune into JSU, Holden, and Big T breaking it down.
Yeah, we got to get these likes up too. So we got to start the JTHayes timer, the timestamps effect. Like we should easily be at 200 likes already, and we went easy on you guys with 350. So got to hit that like, and we'll start putting some numbers on it. We're going to, by the time we get to Orlando, Milwaukee, 2 games now, we got the Cleveland, Boston, then Orlando, Milwaukee. We need to be at 200 or we just cancel out what the finish line was anyway. It makes it easier. I don't care. Like keep the plays. The members get them. We're all crushing. It's going to be another good night. I'm excited, but that's how we got to do it here these days. It's easy. Almost 500 watching, should be there already. One thing I want to bring up. Go ahead.
Well, Maul goes, PJ Tucker's been crushing recently, so I had to pull it up. 17, 29, 17, 16, negative 0.5, 5, 14, 17. He's had a usage above 10 one of those games. So I guess that is crushing for PJ Tucker, but I don't like 17 points on my team.
What was that? Yeah, and there was something else I was thinking of too that you just said at the end. I was glad you brought up the way you did with the Harden factor, because that's the biggest thing. We do these if-then scenarios. It's like, how much do you prioritize it? I feel like sometimes the last minute swaps, I know this is just mentally internal, like where I'm like, something I do mentally that's internal where I'm just like, oh, it just happened that way. But it feels like the late news is always the worst. You pivot off something, like it just never, I mean, certain ones do come through, but other times it feels pretty bad. And that's why I wondered how important, I was going to ask you, Title, and you kind of said at the end, which I was glad you did. How important does this game become when Embiid's, well, obviously Embiid's a huge piece, but I'm saying like, then is there still other spots? Do you need to? You mentioned the Harden factor. Where would you put Harden then, Title, against some of the other guys on the slate that are in his range or at his position? That's what I would wonder.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, in his range is, like, so Ja's 9.9, assuming he plays. Man, I think I'd like James Harden more. Okay. Randall's cheaper, like 800 cheaper. I definitely would rather him. Giannis is way in his own tier. So it's pretty much just him and Ja, Harden and Ja, assuming, of course, Ja plays. And man, I think I'd lean Harden, but just say the ownership flipped and Harden's double the ownership as Ja, then I would rather go Ja that way. So he wouldn't become a must. It's the secondary piece I think I'd even like more, like D'Anthony Melton, Tyrese Maxey, Tobias Harris. To be honest, I think you can play any of those guys, even with them beat in. I don't love it. That's why I'm not really recommending. I'd rather cross off the whole game, but 5.4 for Tobias, 5.2 Maxey, 3.7 Melton. If Embiid was out, we saw these guys earlier in the year. Tobias was like 7K. Maxey was 7.6. Melton was 5.8K. Those secondary pieces would be harder to ignore than Harden, to be honest, for me, just because the opportunity. I mean, yeah, the Lakers are right in that range too, but man, you could load so many good 5K plays right in that range and just play 2-3 studs and just go about your day that way. So I couldn't ignore these 76ers if Embiid was out.
Perfect breakdown there, because that's what people are wondering, right? They're always looking at like, okay, do I swap off this guy for that guy? Do I prioritize these guys over those guys? The chat loves the Niang call there, Locks. So Locks,
Chris said Chris said he's suspended. Is he 100% NBA? He is not 100. I mean, I would kind of be surprised if how he would play today with all this stuff coming out, but I have not seen any news saying he is not playing. Did I miss it though? Because obviously that's important.
I got 12 minutes ago. It's not official yet that I saw. If he wants to post it somewhere, I didn't see it yet, but I can't imagine with the way if you just go to the news on Google, even how does he play tonight? Like amidst this, so
I'd be surprised. But what did you see 12 minutes ago? You saw
it just talks about him accused in the police reports of punching.
But it was nothing confirmed. So monitor. I mean, I would be surprised if he played for sure, but I have not seen anything right now. If other people have seen
as of now, I see nothing either. So
all right.
All right. The chat's asking.
Mo Bamba's a Laker.
That's what I just laughed at, Shannon. Mo Bamba's a Laker, huh? Locks, they liked your Niang call. Anything else you wanted to add there? If not, we can go to Cleveland, Boston.
No, I just think if Embiid's out, I mean, 3,700 for Melton and Niang at $3,000 are probably my favorites. That's all I got on that. But touching on where are we going to next? Cleveland, Boston. That's where we're at.
Yeah, the incident was that too. That everyone knows that. Like the incident was last summer.
Last June,
but I'm saying,
but
like,
if it just came out today,
is when shit actually ends up happening. Usually, we'll see.
Yeah.
That's all we're talking about is how it affects this slate. Is all I really want to pay attention to. I don't want to get into the politics of it all or what's right, what's wrong. We know that's bad. I'm saying it's the idea of is he playing tonight? How does that affect DFS? It affects the slate in a huge way. Sorry, Locks. Carry on. Cleveland, Boston. Let's get into this one.
No, you're good. That's important news. So definitely keep an eye on it throughout this show. But getting back into this on this next game, Celtics, Cavaliers, there's only a few guys, couple guys on each team that I'm going to play. Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland are probably my favorite on the Cleveland side and the only two I'm going to play. Guards against this team is really all I want to target. I'm not paying $7K or $7,600 for the two bigs on Cleveland. I don't want to pay that for 30 DK points or 35 DK points. I'm not doing that tonight. So those are my only two guys are the guards on Cleveland side. On the Celtics side, I do like Bob Williams at 5,200 because he can get us 30 or 35 at that price tag, and they're going to need his size against the two bigs over there. So I like Bob Williams, and then I like Tatum. I like Brown. I always like those two guys. So, I mean, the ownership on these two guys is always too low, in my opinion. I could see Tatum going for 55, 60 DK points tonight. So he's probably one of my favorite plays as well. If you want to run a D-Mitch Tatum type thing, something I'd be interested in for sure at low ownership. So some interest here.
Okay. Title, I'll get your thoughts on it, then I'll go. Like, again, this is a personal bias, I think, for me, more so these Boston guys. I absolutely love Tatum, but when this team, it's just always so hard. And when they go off, it's like they go off together equally. I don't know. I always feel like it's capped unless one of them's out. Even if that's the case, does Tatum even want to show up? He loves to show out. You look at him at the All-Star game. No doubt in my mind, picking up that MVP. It's got Kobe Bryant's name on the MVP. He's the biggest fan of Kobe Bryant. And he just wants to show it in front of all the All-Stars. What happens? He goes off, sets the record for points, and wins it. That was since last time we've been on here as well. So go ahead here, Title. You can keep it rolling, but that's just my thoughts.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you want to go the All-Star narrative, it wasn't just JT going crazy. It was D-Mitch right with him on the same squad. If you want to go, if you want to go that All-Star pairing, I mean, 9-4 for D-Mitch would be tough for me to get to. I'd rather save the 1,400 and go Garland probably. This will be the lowest owned game, the cumulative ownership on both sides, the lowest owned game. Definitely can get to Tatum, though, as a contrarian spend, 10.6K. No one's playing them today. Anytime that's the case, the spread's pretty close, should be a competitive game. Those are the games I do like playing Tatum in. I like Robert Williams, too. He's in the same boat as Mitch Rob for me. Upside is always there. He's going to be low owned. They're going to need a size against Allen and Mobley. But the floor is also there as well. The ownership will be low. Tatum, Robert Williams, and that's pretty much if you want to go a Garland or a D-Mitch just because you're playing all these chalky Lakers, you're playing all the chalk, you want one guy that's 3% owned to differentiate, you can do worse than a Donovan Mitchell or Garland, but really Robert Williams and Tatum is a contrarian spend. Yeah,
and the chat's testing us early, man, risking it. I'm going to give final thoughts on this game, but 198 out of 200, so man, they don't, like I said, I never care. I don't. The graphics are my favorite part, just throwing them up at the end, but it only takes 2 seconds. There's almost 600 watching now. The whole point is, the earlier in the show you guys click them, the more this gets out in the algorithm. The more people can see our free show, the more you support us. It's free support. It's a good thing to do. So I don't need to beg for them every show. I just like the engagement. I like having fun. We love doing these free shows. So it's a very easy task. It takes 2 seconds, and it also stops us from talking about it. I don't even want to talk about it. I just do it because it's part of the show. We want to drive the business. We want to get people in here to be able to find out about us and find out who we are. So anybody that can help with that, we definitely appreciate it. It literally takes 2 seconds. It's free. Thank you so much. All right, final thoughts was what you said, but I think Locks already went there, Title. He said it, and you emphasized it. It was the All-Star game back and forth. I know Dame was in the mix, too. These guys were chucking it. Dame freaking chuck it from behind the half line and nailing it.
Well, he was chucking early, and he couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, and then he finally got hot chucking and hit that half quarter. But, yeah, he was chucking all right. Yeah, I was laughing. I was dying when Giannis I was telling my person next to me, I was like, I'll bet my life that Giannis picks Drew first. And he went Dame. And I was totally shocked because LeBron was going to do it. Giannis wanted that W. He didn't want to take an L. So I was dying at that too.
Did you see, is my camera back? I just clicked
You're
it off. Yeah. Okay. Quickly. Cause I had to cough, but I think you posted a title, had me die. And he was on like the Tonight Show or something the other night. And he was like making fun of guys, but he couldn't do it. So as soon as he's done, he's like, I'm so sorry, KD. You're actually the best player, my favorite guy. I've told you this before. You're the best shooter.
They were trying to make him chirp other players, and yeah, he said something really fun. Jokic, something about how can he carry a team when he the only thing he can carry is the Burger King line or something like that. He was going crazy. It was really funny.
The Burger King one was nice. He said like I forget what he said about him, but he said you can't even fit through a Burger King line. And then he said about KD, you should come work out with me. I can show you what it's like to carry a team and not because he's a super team guy, right?
Yeah.
So
that was
just
so
crushing
funny.
all those guys. It was pretty
the
much
the Grant Williams thing had me. So Giannis, man, of course we're Bucks guys, but the Mark Smith thing when he was chirping Mark, he goes to Richard Jefferson. He's like, you look like Mark Smith out there, shit, and he was dying. And then Grant Williams, he doesn't really like Grant. He's like, get your ugly ass out of my camera. He had me dying the whole All-Star break. Man.
He was crushing me too when he actually was so worried at the end of that All-Star game because he's trying to get his first dub as a GM, and they were way up, and then it just started going the other way. And when that momentum hits, it's just like, damn, like you got to get this thing done. He was like, make a shot, go. He was jumping out on the sideline, like just finish. And meanwhile, Lillard's chucking it up from half court and shit. He's like, no, just get down there and make the shot, get the job done. Locks, I'll go back to you, man. We're going to stay with these Bucks. It was a good segue. Orlando, Milwaukee, in your guys' hometown. I see you got the nice, man, you always got the gear. Locks always got the nicest gear. Me and Title just wear the company stuff. You got a nice hat today, though, Title. I like that hat, but we're trying to be company man, and this guy just got the Bucks hat, the custom shirt, hoodie, everything, all logos. What's going on, Locks? What are you doing with this one?
Oh, hard to tell. I think Giannis is playing from what we're seeing, right? Is that what we're seeing? Is that correct?
Yep.
So if he's playing, I mean, I got some interest in him. It's just it worries me because the 2 games before this last one, he didn't play much with that wrist injury. Then he played a ton of minutes. Now we're on the second half of a back-to-back. So just be cautious if you're going with Giannis. I don't know if I'm going to get to the 12-3 price tag on him tonight. It's just a little too steep with all this other stuff going on. There is a ton of value, so you can get there. I just think I'm going to spend elsewhere instead of going 12-3 for him on the second night of a back-to-back, because if they get into blowout mode here somehow, I mean, he's coming out early. Yeah, he can still crush, but I'm steering away from it. I'd rather probably play a guy like Drew Holiday at 8,800. Even on the back-to-back here, there's no sign of him not playing, shortening his minutes or anything. So I'd rather play him at super low ownership. Not really a ton of interest in this game. If I'm being honest here, I don't like this game at all to really target. So I'm probably going under on this game. It's really just Giannis, Drew Holiday, and that's pretty much it for me. I don't like anybody on the Orlando side either.
Okay. I was wondering about that. The Holiday, being much cheaper is interesting, but on the same token, we talk about this all the time, paying up for probability. I don't know what the ownership looks like right now. It looks like Giannis will still get some, though, Title. So what are your thoughts here on Giannis? How do you see it shaking out for him at 12-3 on this slate? Obviously, we have all the value in the world once we get to the Lakers later and stuff like that. Maybe more if stuff opens up there. But what do you see happening with Giannis for ownership? Do you like him? What are some other thoughts within this game?
Yeah, he's definitely going to get some ownership, but I like him. Just we have all the value in the world, like you said. I mean, if Giannis, the highest raw points guy in the slate, he can get you 60, and that can be enough to be on the winner today just with how pricing works. Yeah, Middleton's also out, so you get a boost there for Giannis. Drew's price, 8.8K is just too expensive for me. Would much rather go Giannis. Just played 28 minutes last game, 59 DK points, 47% usage. Nobody on this Orlando team is going to be able to slow him down. If the game gets out of hand, yeah, why would Coach Bud play him in the fourth quarter like he is? it's a blown out, he's not going to play the fourth quarter as much. But he just got 60 in 28 minutes last game. He gets 28 minutes again. He can easily put up over 60. Again, I think 60 could easily be on the winner with all the value he has. So definitely do like Giannis today at 12-3. Outside of him, though, yeah, I mean, I don't really want to get to this Magic. This team's, I mean, they have so many bodies. Jonathan Isaac isn't going to play, but he hasn't really played too many minutes. I don't really think – I'm not going to go Paulo at 7-3, Fultz, Cole Anthony, pretty much as Giannis, and that's all I'm seeing in this one.
Okay, and one other thing the chat asked about, because Oubre will start came up.
I like that. I definitely like that a lot more. I did, because they've kept starting JT Thor. I assume JT Thor will be going to the bench. But, yeah, I definitely like Oubre now more. Yeah,
that wasn't a good scene there either. That was McGruder-esque watching Thor go out there. And what was like 0-0-2 to start the game for like the first half or so. It was really bad the other night at least. Anything else here, Locks, you want to touch on, or the Oubre news? If not, we can go to Memphis, Houston with the note that we're about 90 shy. So easy math now, 30 likes a game we're going to have to get there. So step your game up on those likes, 30 likes per game to get us to the 350 to round this thing out and get the plays of the day. If not, you'll just get mine because I always give it away. I'm nice, but I always hold these guys back. I won't even let them. Locks is so nice, I won't even let him be nice in this instance. Locks, anything else there? If not, let's go Memphis, Houston.
A little bit on the Oubre news. If he's starting with Hayward, it kind of takes me off both those guys at mid-6s. I just price tag wise, I'm just probably going to stay away from them. Just not knowing what they're going to do. I'll stick to the two guards, and that's it pretty much on Charlotte. So,
all right, I don't hate that. Yeah, go ahead with Memphis, Houston. Then we can talk about this one.
Jumping on the Memphis, Houston. These last three games, I'm actually going to have a ton of interest in. I think this is, I mean, higher totals here. This is just why I haven't really been on the beginning games here a whole lot, because these last three games, I mean, we got value, we got studs, we got pretty much everything here. So I had someone ask me earlier about Tillman. Yeah, he's fine. He's been crushing lately. At $4,600, I definitely don't mind him, and I'm sure you can get him at a lot lower ownership than like Bagley and Wiseman and those guys. So I wouldn't mind that pivot at all, possibly, is playing Tillman here. John Morant's in an absolute smash spot. Desmond Bane's in a smash spot. These guards against this Houston team, I mean, they're just going to crush these guys. So a ton of interest here. In Memphis side, it's Morant, Bane, Tillman in that order for me. Not really anybody else. But if Morant's out, obviously we're all going to love Tyus Jones at $3,300. I think Morant's going to play. If we don't have signs of him sitting yet, I don't think it's going to be an issue. On the Houston side, I don't know. Are you guys seeing Jalen Green? Do we have news on him yet?
Questionable still, I think, title.
Yeah, I think Jalen Green's playing and KPJ is questionable. Let me double.
Or sorry, yeah. That is what I meant.
KPJ is questionable.
I thought you were talking about KPJ.
Okay, so Jalen Green is playing on the back-to-back. I just that worries me too. His price tag is down, so I could see playing him at $6,500. But the only thing is on the back-to-back, coming back from that injury, I'm kind of worried about him. So we'll see. I don't have a ton of interest in this Houston side of it. I like those three guys from Memphis, and if I'm going to play Houston, it'll be a sprinkle of Jalen Green and then Tari Eason at $4,100 are probably my two favorite that I'll be going with there.
I like the Tari Eason call. Could be good, right? I think lately it's been Tate that's been going off, so I don't know what you think about that title. There's spots. Go. I'm interested in the Houston side first. He talked a lot about the Memphis stuff. We know what's going on there. We'll wait and see. Maybe it doesn't look like anything's going on with Ja because the news has been out now for a couple hours and nothing announced. So it may be like a Alvin Kamara approach for the New Orleans Saints, where it's like they got the news, it looks bad, it's on TMZ, but nothing really to go through until after the fact. So if at all, so we'll wait and see. What about the Houston side here, though, and then go to Memphis after title?
Yeah, I mean, Houston's one of those teams that they just don't want to win. And like Sengun, the guy he hasn't played like the whole fourth quarter. I think 2 games ago, 3 games ago as well. He's playing well. He gets benched. They just don't want to win. And teams like that are tough, but so I'm not going to go to a Sengun, a Jalen Green. No, thank you, guys like that. But it does help guys like Tari Eason. I expect him to play 34 minutes, something like that. Kenny Martin Jr., Jabari Smith. These younger guys, those are the guys I would play on Houston. Tari Eason is definitely my favorite, but there's concerns with Houston. A team that doesn't want to win can pull their guys at any moment to try and lose games, and it's always risky doing that. Nothing more tilting. Your guys get off to a good start, they're playing well, and they get benched literally because they just don't want to win. So Tari Eason's definitely my favorite, though. Definitely be cautious with the Houston side. Yeah, so Memphis, if Ja plays, he's 9.9K. That is way too cheap in the nut matchup for Ja. Would absolutely love him for sure. Desmond Bane, 7.8K. Really like that price tag as well. Dylan Brooks, 4.3K. I am never a Dylan Brooks guy. Still, if Ja's in, I probably wouldn't get there. But if Ja's out, yeah, Dylan Brooks, 4.3 would be one of the best plays on the slate. Desmond Bane, 7.8, one of the best plays on the slate. Jaren Jackson, 7.7, one of the best plays on the slate. So this Ja news is very important for sure. People are talking about Xavier Tillman coming off a monster game yesterday. The thing with Xavier Tillman, it worries me. It's the matchups is when Xavier Tillman crushes. When they're playing a team that goes big, Anthony Davis yesterday, he plays around 30 minutes because they need his size. When they play a team like the Rockets, I'm concerned if Sengun's only going to play 25 minutes, then they can just go really small. They can go Tari Eason, Jabari Smith, Kenyon Martin Jr., just no true center out there. Then Memphis has guys like Brandon Clark that they'll throw into the 5, and they'll just play smaller that way. They'll match up with what the other team does. So I get Xavier Tillman coming off the monster game. He should start 4.6K, but I'm definitely hesitant on him just because if Sengun plays 27 minutes and they're running small, Houston is, I don't think Memphis is going to counter with Xavier Tillman at the 5. I think they'll go Brandon Clark and go a small ball lineup too. So don't love Tillman really in this spot. Love Ja, love Desmond Bane. If Ja's out, Brooks, Bane, Jaren Jackson, all very good plays.
Real quick on that Memphis side, because I forced you into starting with Houston, and Locke's already laid it out. But let's say Ja's in, then how far can you go? Will you play Ja and Bane together?
I think you can still play Ja and Bane together. 9.9, such a good price tag. 7.8 for Desmond Bane. I mean, those are the two guys. So I think you can, and it's going to be contrarian. I mean, I assume people are playing Lakers. If you're going chalk, little way to get different right there. And they've shown upside together where they can both be on the winner. So yeah, I could do that. I'd be fine doing that.
Yeah, and then your Brooks call. So I want to ask, Brooks for you is way more so if Ja was somehow out.
I just never, especially the minutes have only been like 25. It's the Bane and Ja show. Again, if Ja's out though, then Dylan Brooks would become one of the better plays. If Ja's in, I don't think I can do that though.
And then Eason and Martin seem pretty strong too on the other side, no matter what, versus Sengun crushing and then he's actually only going to play 24 minutes tonight. He ain't coming back. It's I put all my money into this guy. He started strong. We ain't bringing him back because of this, or they just decide they're not going to play to win. So I like
Jabari in that boat as well.
Jabari?
Jabari Smith?
Yeah. Okay.
So I'd say Eason, Jabari Smith, KJ Martin are the three Houston guys that, they should get run no matter what. So I feel safest with them, but you really do never know at the end of the day.
Do you like Jabari? That's what I was going to ask. So how would you rank those three, just those three guys together? I'm trying to break them down and see who works with who, right? Sometimes that's the hardest part with NBA is like you said, if it goes to that small ball and Houston's playing to lose, but play competitively down the stretch. Who do you see being in on the Houston side is my better question.
Eason definitely would be my favorite. The 4.1K, KJ's 5'7", Jabari's 5'9".
Right.
I don't have a strong, maybe KJ Martin get small forward and power forward eligibility ahead of Jabari Smith. But at the end of the day, we're talking a lot about these Rockets. If you have no Rockets in your team at the end of the day, you're totally fine as well. So Eason definitely my favorite. Then KJ Martin, Jabari Smith, look at them the same.
Yeah, I like that too. And Brittany asked, they mentioned Tyus Jones. Yeah. If Ja was somehow out, they mentioned Brooks.
Oh, of course, Tyus Jones.
Yeah, Tyus was 3,300. He
absolute lock.
Yeah, if that's the case. So that's just a crazy price, of course. Yeah. So let's check in on the likes. We got 2 games to go here, making good time on the rest of it, but it looks like right now sitting at about 294. So we got opportunity here, guys. We're ahead of the curve now. We only need 56 to go with 2 games to go, and now we've made it to the one we'll spend a little bit of time on. So I'll go to you, Locks, here. The Lakers versus OKC. Looks like a pretty good game. Again, we got our guy Gary's playbook. One word that defines this one. It looks like one of the better games of the night. So let's talk about this one, Locks. What are you doing here?
Yeah, this one's interesting. And P. Lally asking me if I'm on timeout. No, I hit the refresh on the wrong tab, actually. Pulled the Houdini act. But we're back. Diving into this game. Yeah, there's value here. There's everything in this game. And I think it's going to be high a total here. Obviously, 2 teams that don't really play a whole lot of defense. On the OKC side, it's kind of like the Houston team. It's like, do these guys want to win this Josh Giddey and Dort not getting the minutes. I mean, I didn't see the game yesterday. Was there some reason they played such low minutes?
They played awful. I mean, I think like Giddey was minus 25 or something. Dort was 4 for 14, couldn't buy one. At the end of the day, their best unit, of course, Giddey and Dort are better than the guys they close with, but the other guys were playing better than them, and they just kept rolling with it, I think. But man, I'm glad you started with Locks first, because I have no clue what to do with these OKC guys either. They're grading out really well.
Yeah, so if that's just the case and they had a bad game, I think what's going to happen is they're going to be so low owned today because of it, and they sucked yesterday. I played Giddey yesterday, so I was a little bit upset, but I'm fine going right back to him. I mean, he's got triple-double upside. Let's be honest, we've seen it. Definitely double-double for sure. He's just been shooting the ball like crap. If you can get him to fall, I like him at 7,600. I don't see him getting steamed up. Isaiah Joe at 4,500, that price tag's a little too steep for me to get to. And then there's only two other guys I like on OKC. It's Lou Dort, it's Jalen Williams. They get the minutes regardless. Jalen Williams at 6,200. We've seen that he's the guy that's always going to be out there. He's getting the most minutes on this team with SGA out. So I love him. And then Dario Saric. I absolutely love him today with Kenrich Williams out as well at $3,200. I think he is a great play. We saw him play how many minutes? 27 minutes last game. Usage was 22. I mean, pace is up. It's just I see this guy possibly getting us 30 points, 35 points at $3,200. I don't see how you can pass that up. So a ton of interest in him tonight. And then if I'm looking at the Lakers side, it's just there's a ton of stuff here. $5,400 Schroeder, Malik Beasley. We got Vanderbilt starting at $4,900. Ton of interest in him as well. The bench guys is what I don't know what to do with. A lot of guys are liking Austin Reeves. I don't really like Austin Reeves personally. So I'll be off of him and under the field on him, I think, in my opinion. Do have a little bit of love for Mo Bamba at $3,500, coming in behind Vanderbilt probably. So if I'm going to play anybody there, it's probably him at $3,500. And then I love Malik Beasley here. He's probably my favorite play on the Lakers. I'll choose him over Schroeder. I think I'll get him at less ownership as well. So I'd take Beasley over Schroeder there for sure.
Yeah, Title, I want to talk to you about this too, because this is where it gets tough. Like you said, just a lot going on here, but I like Beasley the best for sure. I think everybody does for good reason. What's the situation here though? Like just stacking this up, how many guys can you roll? Is there some you would play over some? Like I'm going to pivot to this guy while everyone else will be on that guy. Talk to us more from that perspective, as I know you know that stuff quite well too. Locks does as well, but just in general, he broke it down very good. It's hard to put it all together. Help us build this puzzle here, my friend.
Yeah, it's very hard. When I'm talking through, I'm going to talk myself into trying building the puzzle too, because so they have 11 bodies, the Lakers do, and two of them are Davon Reed and Max Christie, who hardly play. So I'm pretty much saying they have 9 bodies, and one of them is Wenyen Gabriel, who he doesn't get a ton of minutes today. He'll probably get a good amount. Thing is, I don't even know who the Lakers are going to start, because they're playing OKC, who runs a really small lineup. They run Jalen Williams, the small forward, the hooper Jalen Williams, the more expensive guy at the 4, and the other Jalen Williams, who's a small ball 5. So, like, if the Lakers want to go Vanderbilt at the 5, they can go Vanderbilt at the 5, go Rui, Troy Brown, Malik Beasley, Dennis Schroeder, which is a lineup. They really can't do that against most teams. Against this team, they can. They could go Mo Bamba at the 5, a traditional lineup in that way. They could go Wenyen Gabriel at the 5 and start him. So starting lineup's definitely going to be important for this one. A lot of people, these last 3 games are very good. We didn't have as much interest in the first ones. So you should have, at least I will have, a lot of open spots to be flexible with the starting lineup. Whoever starts, I will definitely like. If Wenyen Gabriel starts at the 5, I'd give him a huge bump. If he doesn't start, I probably wouldn't get to Wenyen Gabriel. Mo Bamba starts, I definitely give him a bump. You can play him either way, though. You can really play any of these guys at the end of the day. But how I'd rank them, definitely Malik Beasley number 1 at that shooting guard position. Dennis Schroeder, he's going to be Malik Beasley, Schroeder, Austin Reeves. Like, they just don't really have too many ball handlers. So those are my 2 favorites for sure. Troy Brown, if he'd be one of the guys, I don't even think he's going to get too much ownership, though. I was going to say he's probably going to start. He's more of a cardio guy as well. So he's one of my least favorite on the Lakers. I definitely prefer Reeves off the bench, even if Troy Brown does start. I do like Rui a lot at 3.7K. These are the games that he flourishes in. Again, he's definitely going to get some ownership, but he's not going to be the chalkiest guys are going to be Vanderbilt, Malik Beasley, Dennis Schroeder, no doubt on the Lakers side. all solid plays for sure. You can play all of them. How many is too many? You can play 5 of these Lakers. If they're only playing 9 guys and Gabriel comes off the bench and plays only 15 or something, I mean, you can get 5 guys that are going to play 30-plus minutes at all very cheap price tags. They're without LeBron and AD. Like, these guys all just have to chuck. So, yeah, how I'd rank them: Beasley 1, Dennis Schroeder 2, Vanderbilt 3, Rui 4, Reeves 5, Bamba 6 probably. But if Bamba starts, I would definitely like him. I don't know, again, what they're going to do. If they go Vanderbilt 5, Gabriel 5, Bamba 5. I definitely like all the starters, though, outside of Troy Brown. He'd be the one I really don't like. Rui not starting, title, will he? I totally think Rui can start. That's the thing. They can do so much with this starting lineup, have spots available, and mess with the starters. I like Rui regardless, though. If he starts or off the bench, he's going to chuck regardless, which is what I like. He's going to be one of the most aggressive players on their squad. So you can play 5 Lakers. I would totally feel fine with it. OKC side's definitely the harder side because, yeah, Giddey plays 19 minutes yesterday. He was in foul trouble early, but he hardly played in the second half too. Lou Dort only 21 minutes. They weren't playing very good basketball. They don't want to win though, so I don't know what to do with them. Isaiah Joe started, only played 23 minutes. Jalen Williams with the 6.2K. Jalen Williams is definitely my favorite. Hooper, he finished the game yesterday. He got all the minutes. The great spot for him. We talked a bunch about him yesterday. He's definitely my favorite OKC guy. Dario Saric, I do like him at 3.2K. Played 27 minutes yesterday. Like, maybe they just start rolling guys like this out for 20, 25 minutes. You get power forward and center eligible. Yeah, I'm good with Saric. The other Jalen Williams, like, I don't know if I want to play just center eligible, 3.7K him, so probably not. If I knew Dort and Isaiah Joe were going to get 28, 30 minutes, I would love Lou Dort and Isaiah Joe in this spot, but I really don't have too much. I don't really know. I'm going to be listening to the Up to Lock show. What does JSU think? What does Big T think? They probably have no clue either because I don't even know if the coach knows what they're going to do, what he's going to do tonight with these guys. So definitely Jalen Williams, 6.2K is my favorite OKC guy. Dort, Joe, Saric, they're all in play. I mean, Giddey's in play, but I'm not messing with Giddey. I cannot. I mean, he can 7.6K. If he burns you have no chance to win. If 3.2K Saric burns you can at least get there to min cash and get up there a little bit. So yeah, I mean, this is the game of the night. Everyone's playing Lakers. OKC's grading out really well. Also, the Lakers side, you definitely have to feel way more comfortable with.
Yeah, and that's what I was looking at. No one can break it down better than that. You two just went through it and gave us everything on it. And that's a lot of different ways to play it. If you guys want more, you should go over to runpuresports.com. Use the promo code LOCKS. I got to give him the credit today, title. He put it right in the name, so give him the credit on that one. LOCKS15 gets you 15% off anything on the site. So you can set it up if you want a SaberSim package, you want a monthly, whatever, gets you all set up. You get 15% off your first setup. Get in, all sports, one price. So check that out. The likes, so close, man. We're 14 away, so we beat the pace, but we only got to get, 24, I think, actually. Yeah, I just had to double check. It said 36, 326. And we got one more game, though. So, Locks, I'll go to you.
I'll just say, last thing I mentioned, Lonnie Walker. I forgot to mention him. Yeah, he's part of that 9. Going to get minutes. He also is kind of similar to Rui. He is going to chuck. Really love Lonnie Walker as well. So, yeah, I didn't mess him. All 9 guys, I'll name all 9 for that you can play. So Schroeder, it's Malik Beasley, Troy Brown, but I do not like him. I expect him to start. He'd be my least favorite. Rui, Vanderbilt, Reeves, Mo Bamba, Lonnie Walker, Gabriel. And again, I don't love Gabriel as much unless he starts, but all 9 of those guys, you can play them.
Yeah. Definitely a way to go here. Like you said, there's lots of options in this game. I'm sure there'll be some game stacks. There'll be a bunch of different ways people attack this one. But, man, just looking at building out some lineups as we go along and talk through it and some of the stuff. Like, I like the Saric call there quite a bit too. So him, Beasley, like a mini stack, I'm okay with that. But you can build around it. I'm just saying it's tough to get to the finale of it all and try and get everybody in that I want. But this last game, I think, still has some value in it too here, Locke. So I'll go to you. We're on track to hit the plays of the day. Let's round things out here. New Orleans versus Portland. 233 total, pretty tight spread here. Lots of guys. We got to wait on this Anthony Simons news. I haven't seen any update on that yet, but that'll be later in the night. So go ahead, Locks. Take it away.
Yeah, that's definitely some important news as well. And I think we got Jovel news too, if I'm not mistaken, right? That we're waiting on.
He's questionable.
Yeah.
So there's a ton of ways this could go as well, and we'll talk through it and break it down just like we did the last one. I'll start with the Pelicans side. If Jovel's out, I think Willie Hernan Gomez is almost a lock, at least in my opinion. if he starts, I think he would start if JoVal is out. So I love him to death if JoVal is out. I like Brandon Ingram probably just about as much as I like Willie Hernangomez if JoVal is out. And then McCollum, I'd say in that order, probably Ingram, Hernangomez, McCollum for me. McCollum revenge game. Obviously, we saw the chat say we always like them revenge games. It could be one. The only thing that scares me with McCollum is somebody mentioned it, I think, in the Discord earlier, is he's been looking like he's hurt recently. He hasn't looked like himself a whole lot. So I lean Ingram here. I think he's a great play at $8,300. I don't think he's going to get a ton of ownership. So I wouldn't mind pairing him with Hernangomez for a late night type hammer. And then if Simons is out, you just run it back with Lillard. I think that's like the easiest thing to do here. And you got a ton of late game stuff that could crush for you. So if Simons is in, it takes me off a lot of these guys. Personally, I think he might be, since he did get upgraded throughout the day here. So that's interesting news to watch. You're going to want to keep one of those util or guard spots open for him, or just in that spot, just in case, for Lillard or him or somebody that you want to play in these late games for that news. So just pay attention to that. If Simons is in, it's really just Jeremy Grant and Lillard for me that I'm interested in. If Simons is out, I do like Lillard, Grant, Cam Reddish, Matisse Thybulle. Those are probably my 4 favorite guys in that order. So, just news that you got to be waiting for, watching the Discord, watch the Up to Lock show. We'll be updating you on all this, but definitely a lot of interest here in this last game of the night.
Yeah, I got interest too. I'll let you take it away first, Title. Any thoughts on this one from you? Who are some of the guys that you like? Our guy Chandre said Dame getting clamped tonight. We said this a few times, and then he won me some money. So I don't know. Everyone know Dame's always getting D'd up, is what they say. And then it's Dame time, and he's not. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean, yesterday we talked about the worrisome that Kerr would throw a box in one, or they just won't let Dame beat him. He got off to a hot start. He slowed down, wasn't on the winner. It is a tough matchup. I mean, the Pelicans could throw Herb Jones, a long, lengthy defender, and just follow Dame around the whole time. So if you're in the individual matchups and stuff, Pelicans definitely could give him fits. Anthony Simons, so he was out. Then 20 minutes before he got on the show, he was real questionable. To be honest, you want with Dame, you want Anthony Simons in, because they just, like, Matisse Thybulle, no one's worried about. Jeremy Grant's the number 2. Drew Eubanks, no one's worried about. Like, Dame needs other people that can score and get their own around him so the defense can focus on others. So I'm good. Like, if someone's like Simons in that bumped down to Dame, I definitely don't look at it like that at all. Definitely can play Dame at 11-9, but I mean, I prefer, especially the ownership I'm seeing, maybe they'll be similar, but I prefer Giannis to Dame personally. The floor just feels higher. The ceiling is definitely not higher. I mean, Dame just showed all that ceiling in the world, but if I had to agree with Chandre, I probably would, that it could be a tough matchup for Dame, but he's one of the best players in the world. He can get his. As far as JoVal, Gary in the playbook thinks he'll play. It's a bruise. If he does play, he's a fine play. I don't know, 6'5". He's a fine play. He's a better play on FanDuel, 6.2K. If he didn't play, JTHayes or Willie Hernangomez would start. Whoever does start, I would have interest in. I wouldn't play whoever the other guy is, though. Would have interest in the starter. Matisse Thybulle's been hooping, 3.7K. With the Lakers value on this slate, though, you don't need to play Thybulle over the Lakers. So, yeah, really it's and CJ McCollum. CJ and Brandon Ingram, 8-3 Ingram, 7-5 CJ. Man, CJ revenge game. Yeah, he has been looking hurt. He hasn't shot the ball well. I think it's his wrist. He's done like 1 for 8 from deep, 1 for 9. The revenge game, it feels like a game he can definitely get up for, though. And 7.5K is a good tag. He's not going to have too much ownership. I can get behind this one. Brandon Ingram, too, 8-3. I wouldn't play him together. I think Ingram will be a good amount higher owned than McCollum, though. So maybe a little pivot there. I jumped all over the place, but yeah, I like this game. Dame at 11-9, fine. Don't love this Portland side as much, though. McCollum was my favorite on the Pelicans. Ingram was my second favorite. But out of the 3 late games, the Lakers, OKC game, then Memphis, Houston, I think this is my least favorite of them outside of those couple pieces.
All right, we did it. We got through it all. We hit the likes. We're going to get the plays of the day. I'm not going to talk about this game myself. I'll wait, but I'll let Locks go ahead. Locks, we got the Goldilocks play of the night. What do you got, my friend?
Look at that photo. So good.
We're back, baby. We're back. We hit it. We get the graphic. We get the girl. We get the bear. Cocaine Bear, maybe, actually. Thinking about that movie. That's what I'm seeing there. But go ahead. Talk to us about your play.
There we go. My play of the night is going to be Jason Tatum. I think he's getting us a 60 DK burger tonight against the Cavaliers. He's going to go back and forth with D Mitch tonight. Pair them together. I mentioned it earlier. That's my play of the night is Jason Tatum, and I'm okay with Mitchell on the other side as well.
All right. Good with that. I will go next because I always like to leave the last for title, but the Tambo, Lambo, Rambo play of the night. That's why I said I wouldn't talk about the last game. I'm going right back to the last game that we talked about. I don't know about doubling down. We have to wait and see that Simons news. I do like having both those ball handlers at the end of the night, but my play is actually $7,500. CJ McCollum. We talked about, you guys hit on the revenge game. The one revenge game that I'll give my guy Butthole Jenkins in the chat and say that I'm interested in is that one, but not too worried about the injury stuff. If it happens, it happens. He's priced fairly enough too, where, down the stretch or anything like that, I'm just not too worried about it. So I like CJ McCollum here in this matchup. $7,500. I'm going there for my play of the night. And lastly, we got Mr. Title, the SO play of the day. Not the night, the day. What do we got, Title?
No one does it better. No one hits that vocal just like you, Tam. Always love hearing you say
that. In the shower. That's why.
Absolutely. So we're going to go to the Memphis game. Right now, assuming Ja's in, that's what we have. He's going to be one of the more popular spend-ups on the slate. I like going to his counterpart, Desmond Bane, 7.8K. These Rockets can't guard anybody. Go to the flow chart. Always play guards against Houston. Always been a big Desmond Bane guy. You get leverage off of Ja. You can play them together. I think that's totally fine as well. But if you're not playing Ja, it's going to be chalky. He bust. Why would he bust? Probably because Desmond Bane lights it up. Love the price, say 7.8K. I'm seeing about 10% ownership. It's not going to be too crazy high. A lot of upside there. So give me Desmond Bane as the SO play of the day.
Jeez. I like that play of the day. And Butto's in the chat talking about locks. Man, locks, you want to comment on that before we get out of here?
Yeah, we need to change the graphic.
We got to change the graphic immediately. He's talking. We got to change the thumbnail that has Ja on it on the day that all the stuff comes up. And then we got to change the locks, Goldilocks play of the night graphics. So, all right, it was a lot of fun. We hit the likes in the end. As always, what do you think we ended at, Title? 357, man. As soon as we hit the number,
it's always that it stops.
Down, right? Everyone's good. So either way, we appreciate you guys, but just know it's the same thing every time. So put a reminder, set it up, put that piece of tape by your computer, whatever you got to do. Hit the like. Simple as that. We'll get it done. Appreciate you guys. See you back here next week. Same place, same time for Title, for Locks, and for myself, Toe Tag and Tambo. We'll see you guys next time.